inviting me to speak to you guys. I can see there's somebody in the list, Onyango Michael. Can he introduce himself, please?
He has been running away from it.
Okay. I'm here. This is Onyango Michael. I am a pharmacist by profession, and we work with David at Ryculture. Okay. I know it's a ladies' meeting, but we are here.
No, we believe in diversity and equity and everything that goes with it. We always want to take the boy child along as well.
Okay. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you and welcome. So guys, if you can start, because I'm already seeing it's 7:22 and I need to finish and go make dinner. Yeah, so I was asked by Stacy and David to come and speak to you, and thank you for the opportunity. I find being in the presence of young people very refreshing, and there's a lot to learn from young people, because your view of the world and mine as sometimes are really different, and there is always the assumption that the older the wiser, maybe to some extent, but we also get an opportunity to learn a lot. Most of you are actually just a few years older than my eldest. Yeah, so I can start from there. Married to one man, mother of two. My son is turning 18 next week, so I'm very, very excited. Because of COVID-19, there's gonna be no party, but it's something that we all, I think I'm more excited than he is about being 18. And my daughter is 14. In terms, I will share my screen. I can share my screen, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, let me just share. Oh, it's disabled. You need to enable it.
Okay. Oh no, okay, wait. Okay, I think now that you're the host, you'll be able to
admit people. Okay, I've admitted someone.
Oh no, to also share the screen as the host.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just put it in presentation mode. I wanted to put this as a fireside chat, and it's something I like doing with my colleagues, something I enjoy doing on the larger team, just not within Kenya and beyond, because we also in the corporate world have a ladies chapter within my organization. So we normally have talks, and I lead the fireside chat. So I wanted to give it the same feeling. So by name, I'm Dembah. Acquired name is Aringo. Which is my husband's name. I'm a mother of two, so my son is turning 18, as I said earlier, and my daughter is 14. Now, I have two candidates who were really looking forward to doing exams this year, and things have happened. So I'm at that stage where I'm trying to manage their emotions. And for you guys who are in school, I think it really impacts you when things change, and therefore you're not sure about where your education is taking, because we all have a trajectory that we'd like to follow. And when things change, it becomes a bit confusing. So I totally feel you. In terms of education, I have a BSc in biochemistry and chemistry from the University of Nairobi, and an MBA as well in marketing. One thing that makes me very happy is the fact I've always wanted to be in a space where I can make an impact in other people. And one thing that I realized very fast, that it was not possible to do it by myself. I needed to have other people on my corner, and therefore I joined the Rotary, and it's been an amazing journey where I'm in a space of other like-minded people. We share ideas, we decide on what we are going to do every single year, and we have small steps, but big impact in our community, and I really love it. So if you ever get a chance to, and you want to join a Rotary, or you want to be a Rotaractor, please talk to me. I'm willing to hold your hand and get there. I'm also a fitness fanatic, and this is not something that started yesterday. I've been very active physically for the last say 14 years, and I've really enjoyed it. So it's one of those things that I do consistently, and gives me so much joy. So my day starts with a bit of workout and some tea. The tea is something I would like to drop. I have graduated from drinking tea with milk. I only take green tea, but yes, tea for life. I still have it here. Yeah, I enjoy drinking tea to the extent that when I travel, because Kenya tea is the best. When I travel, I carry my own tea. There was a time I lived out of the country for 1 year, and I lived alone. And the day I did not have Kenya tea, I was screaming at everyone, bring me tea, bring me tea. Yes, so it's one of those things that I can't live without, but I plan to stop. Yeah, because I realize I've become my mother, but that's a story for another day. So I work for Pfizer. Pfizer is, and I'm sure because you are all in the pharma field, you know about Pfizer. Pfizer is an American company that brings innovative brands or innovative products to the world, and our focus is on all areas of illness. So we have oncology products, we have anti-infectives, we have a whole range of products, and right now, vaccines is very important because of COVID-19. We do have one of the biggest vaccines sold in 165 countries around the world, or rather used in 165 countries around the world. And also we've been able to sell more than a billion doses of Prevnar, which is a pneumococcal vaccine. So by and large, it is one of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. I have been in Pfizer for 1 year, 4 months. So it's not somewhere I've stuck for long. But before that, I worked for GSK from the time I left college. So I've had two employers from Big Pharma. There are people always ask me, is there a difference between the two companies? And I always tell them, same old, same old. They're just the same. It's just the cultures that are big different, one being American and one being British. And you know how everybody acts, has their way of doing things. Otherwise, it's just big pharma with the same values, the same forecast, quality products, caring for the people, trying to expand into the underserved communities like in East Africa, like we are, and making every effort to make their presence felt in this. So if any of you wants to join pharma, it's really a satisfying place to be. And one of the reasons why I've stuck in pharma for very long is that their value mirror my own. I don't know if the values in pharma have influenced my values, because I joined pharma when I was pretty young. Immediately after college, but their values have always mirrored my values. So that's why I have been in pharma for so long. I enjoy what I do very much. I wake up very energized every day and looking forward to making a difference. In times like this, where there is a pandemic, it becomes a little crazy, because as you all know, medicine delivery is dependent on incoming logistics. Factories are under a lot of pressure to be able to produce COVID-19 or products that support COVID-19, and therefore all the other products are suffering. So there's a lot that's going on in the background, and all of us just hope that it will end and we will move. So when I was asked to come and talk to you, I wanted to make it something about what I would tell my younger self if I had an opportunity to think about it. So I want to make it as interactive as possible. So if you guys have questions, please feel free to just ask and I will be able to answer. Otherwise, we can leave them at the end, then we can talk about them. So one thing that happened, and you're probably experiencing it now if you're not in school, and I keep saying, keep calm, everything happens for the reason. My own experience when I was in class 8, no, not class 8, in Form 4, when we were doing exams, the tail end, the last 2 weeks of the exams, there was some leakage of exams. That was in 1991. I'm not young, I'm very old. Some of you were not born then. Yeah. So actually, all of you are not born then. So I was in Form 4. Then there was some leakage in exams, and then they stopped exams right the tail end. And I think I had 3 papers to go. So I had French and biology or something. So we had to stay in school and wait for a decision to be made and the exams to be done. And therefore, I keep telling my children that at that point, I felt like my world had come to an end. And that was an extension of just a month. And now I'm seeing they've been not gone to school for a whole year, although for my children, they've been having classes every day. So I really agonized at that point. I was unable to read, and yet we'd been put in a place where we were supposed to be reading, but my mind was already at home, and I was not calm at all. I was in a panic. So if I could talk to my younger self, I would tell my younger self to keep calm. Everything happens for a reason, because when you look back and go a few steps, it totally changes your life. What happens today changes your life, even in the smallest of ways, and most of the time is for the best, because people think it could be for the worst. Most of the time it's for the best. So keeping calm and just taking care of yourself is one place that you can start when things change and you really don't know what direction to take. Mental health is very important. We make an effort to take care of our mental health and for those around us. But you see, as they say when you're on a flight, that you need to wear your mask first before you can help others with their masks. So that's, I think, is something that's important to remember, that you need to take care of yourself first, and you can only do that if you keep calm and look at things different. The other example I wanted to give for keeping calm, everything happens for a reason. My previous employer, GSK, I loved working there, and it was really nice, and the opportunities were just opening up for me. So I had been asked to go and work in the CEO's office in London, very close to the CEO, which never happens to most people, yeah. So one day I was just told, hey, Annie, there's an opportunity. By then I was the marketing director. There's an opportunity for you to go and work in Emma's office, Emma's Wormsley, and I was very excited. And a lot of things came to my mind. Since it was a short-term assignment, it was going to be 6 to 7 months. I could not uproot my family and go with them. So I was going to leave them for the first time. And it really looked like everything was opening up for me, and I had the best time because I'd never lived on my own, and I was going to live in London by myself. So I was excited, had the time of my life. Then towards the tail end of my program, so the agreement was like I was gonna finish the program and come back to Africa. I love home and do something else. But then the company structure changed, and all our jobs were gone. And the only options, I had gone on a non-accompanied visa, and to change your visa status was very difficult, and I had very few options. And I remember I was living alone in London, and there are many nights where, and this was very recent in 2018, there are many nights where I stayed up the whole night agonizing about my life. Here was my family in Kenya, and they were asking me to stay, and the only way I could stay was if I was still unaccompanied and they would extend my visa. The other way was to go to maybe Switzerland or any other country neighboring and work there for a year, because after a year I could revert and come back with my family. And that was also very strange for me. The third option was just to come home. And I really wanted to come home. So I decided to come home, and they say, just come home, look at what you can do while you're at home. Sorry. Look at what you can do while you're home, then we will see. So I came back and started working on assignment, this whole digital space. And after 3 months, one day I woke up and I said, come on, this is not what I was prepared for. I'm feeling idle, I'm feeling underutilized, and I'm quitting. And everybody was in shock, and they're like, how can you quit? You have reached a point where you've made many changes. Well, like right in my heart, my instinct tells me I can do more, and the only way I can do more is to move. And GSK, being a very good employer, had given me an opportunity to look for a job within GSK while I was in Nairobi. So I quit, and immediately after I quit, and that was October. decided to do some farming and see how that
Anne,
Sorry, I lost you guys, eh?
yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think my network just went down and I was trying to log on the iPad and it's taking long.
Oh.
Yeah, but now you can hear me, eh?
No, it's loud and clear. We can see you. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, when I after that I just got bored and I felt like I needed to do something else, and I started looking for a job immediately, and all things work for the good, because eventually I got my current role. And when I think about it, I really agonized about it for so long, and yet things work out in the end. So what is my point? My point is, please just keep calm. Things happen for a good reason. And when I look back now, it was the best decision I ever made. That was my first point. The second thing that people think about, especially when you're young, and in this current generation, is we want to have it all. So as you finish your 4th year, 5th year, and get into the workspace, I see a lot of times when people come for interviews and look for jobs, they want to do so much so that they can achieve their goals now and get on with life. And my advice to you would be like, yes, you can have it all, but not just at the same time. Don't be frustrated by trying to do so many things at the same time. There's a reason why they say you can be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Let me let some people in. There's some people waiting. Yeah. You can be trying to do everything at the same time, but you need to look at the opportunity cost. You could make all the money that can help you survive. So if you're doing an internship, or if you're locuming in 3 hospitals, and at the end of the day you are sick because you're always working, then it's not worth it. Yeah. So you can have it all, but not at this once. And at times, for people like me who are parents and you have a job, you agonize a lot about balancing. Yeah, I know we keep saying that women can multitask, but the truth of the matter is, you do one thing perfectly at a go, then move to the next. If you try to balance everything, then you're likely to drop. Okay, someone is speaking.
Amos.
You're likely to drop a few balls. So just remember that. So think about it, focus on one thing at a time, and have a goal. It's important to have a goal. I am one of those people who have a to-do list every day, which I tick. I have to confess, by Friday, sometimes half the to-do lists are not done. Yeah, but at least it gives me a focus on what I need to do. So have a goal, and then you prioritize, and things will work out just okay for you. Yeah. So if your goal is to, for example, to be in public health, then make it very clear to everybody who is around that that's what your interests are in public health. If you want to join industry, this is very clear. And one of the things, my success in the corporate world I can attribute it all to the people who've been around me and the people who've supported me, my mentors, my sponsors, not the sponsor that you guys are thinking. Yes, my sponsors. I made an effort, because in one thing I have learned is, most of the time there is a forum where you are not in, but you're being discussed, especially when succession matters happen, or jobs happen. You'll not be there when the panel are discussing you. even in your current organization. Yeah. So you need to have somebody around the table who'll speak on your behalf. And you can only have that person if they know, one, what you want and you're very clear about it. And also if you deliver on all the promises that you make. Yeah. So always as a woman, and that's why women, we are left behind. I can tell you for free, I started working as a medical rep. And my intention was never to go to pharma, because unlike you ladies who are BFAM, I was a BSc. So when I joined the university to study BSc, that was not my first choice. Unlike today where you can go and change, then the Joint Admission Board decided, depending on your grades, on where to go. And changing was a nightmare. I tried the first semester of my first year to change because in my mind, I believed that I wanted to study French. I wanted to be a French teacher. I wanted something foreign. And when I was told no, then I was, my calling letter said BSc. When I landed in Chiromo, what did I do? The first thing I did was to go and register to do double maths. Luckily for me, yes, because I was very good at maths. I find maths, it flows for me. And luckily I had one of my uncles, you probably know Professor Opiakech. So after I've registered, I walked to his office and he asked me, so have you finished registering? I was like, yeah. So what have you done? I said, double maths. He sent me back to the line. Go and take those papers and tear them. I was like, but I'm very good at maths. Like, no, you're gonna fail. And have you thought of your future? So, and I totally understand. Even by the time I finished my fourth year, I still did not know what I wanted to do. Because as soon as I started doing botany, zoology, and chemistry, and throughout my campus life, I worked in the biochemistry lab. And at first I was very excited because I had a job and I had something to do. Then I realized it was very boring because my work involved getting there in the morning, feeding the rabbits. After feeding the rabbits, I'd feed the lice on the rabbits. Then yes, dissect, or rather remove the gut from the lice, centrifuge them. It was a whole process and it was boring, and most of the time I was just reading a novel over there. And the university was very good to me, and throughout every break that we had, I had a job to do. And even at the point as I graduated, the lecturers around me really encouraged me to join to do a master's, and they were really looking out for scholarship for me. They got, but also we used to go down, and all of, maybe you guys have not gone to Chiromo. I'm assuming you guys are in UN. Forgive me. Well, most of you are in USIU. There was a restaurant where we used to go and eat, and all the med reps would come there with their flashy cars. And therefore that's what got us there. So as soon as about a month before we finished college, I started working my CV from one pharmaceutical company to another, and I was lucky. That's how I got into pharma. I first worked for bulk medicals for 3 months before I moved to GSK. So it's one of those things. So my point is, at times you don't know what you want, and people get into your path to kind of direct you into where you can go, and it works out eventually. Yeah. So just prioritize, focus. I got there because I wanted a job. I needed a job, and what worked for me is it was a very good field. I had a car. My motivation was the car, and nothing else, and everything else worked after that. Yes, and when I think about it critically, even the first 7 years when I was a rep, I just did practically everything routine, and I did not think about developing myself. I did not think about going back to school. I was just working. So at some point when I woke up and I realized that, I need to show up, that's when things started changing for me. So when you're young, you can relax, take a back seat, but with time you realize you need to step up. Yeah. So focus is important. Okay. My screen is frozen. And then number 3, trust your instincts. Your instincts are always correct. Yeah. So if you're walking on the road and there's a dark alley and you want to go into an alley as a girl, your instincts will almost always tell you do not go, because you're not sure about what's going on there. And if you ever try, and the people who've ever tried, they'll come back and tell you, yeah, I had a feeling I shouldn't. So please do trust your instincts, because it almost like, I always tell my friends that I have a committee in my head that speaks to me. You know that thing of having the devil on this side and the angel on the other side. Yeah, talking together. Yeah, go, don't go. But I always follow the strongest instincts. So if your instincts tell you public health is your cup of tea, please go there and make the best out of it. Yeah, and you will succeed. Yeah, if your instinct tells you that you can no longer work somewhere because of various reasons, A, B, C, D. Yeah, it's time to move. And it can feel very frightening when you move, because you don't know what the next step is, but your instincts, when one door closes, I'm a strong believer in that, another one opens. Yeah, and if you spend,
Sorry,
sorry?
before you continue, could you add some more people?
Oh,
Sorry.
there are people where, okay, let me see. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. So when your instincts tell you that something is happening, and especially for us women, some work environments might not be very conducive, and we've had cases where people have said, oh, we've been forced into situations that are compromising because you think you need to keep the job. I know we all need to eat at the end of the day, but what's in your mind is more important. So if your instincts tell you what the direction you're taking is wrong, please don't do it. Yeah, trust your instincts always. It's one of those things that my mother taught me when I was much younger. I come from a family of 10 and we are 8 girls, and this is one thing she always told us, that trust your instincts. And it's one of those lessons that you don't listen to, but when you look back, you realize that she was always right. And she always told us, if you're going to enter a matatu and you don't feel right, step out. Yeah, just go and take another one, because there is always something in there. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so my screen has frozen again. Okay. Planning. As I mentioned earlier, I am one of those people who plan ahead. I have a list. I tick it off. And my life is about plan. And I know it's one of things every time with my coaching sessions, in my mentorship sessions, where every time we have development plans and things that I need to stop, I'm always being told, stop planning. Yeah, be spontaneous. But I feel very uncomfortable when I don't have a plan. So even before I go to bed, I look at my calendar, what do I need to do? So that if I go for my run for 1 hour, I know when I come back, I have enough time to shower and get in front of my computer. So planning is something that is really helpful. And just like you're told about financial planning, even a daily planning is okay. It's good. It helps you. Yes, I plan my meals, I plan everything, and it can be very irritating if your partner is spontaneous like mine and does not care about planning, because you always feel frustrated going into their plans. You feel like, you're asking me to do now, why did you tell me early? But one thing that I wanted to stress here was the fact that nothing exactly happens the way you plan it. So be flexible enough to, and I see 2 more people wanting to enter. Be confident enough to be flexible in your planning, so that if in case something changes, you can take a different course. I've always been in a commercial or role, and when you're in a commercial role, you have a P&L, you have people to take care of. You look at the top line, you look at the bottom line, and your capabilities are measured by your performance on a daily basis. So when I took time to go work somewhere else, I went to HR. Yeah, and it was a different role for me because I'd never worked in HR before, and I was very excited because I would not have a P&L first, one of first, because those reviews can be brutal, especially now in times of COVID when you're struggling to make the numbers and to justify the continuity of the business. But then I was in HR, so my role involved talking to people organization-wide and traveling around the globe, talking to people on the factory floors, talking to CEOs, talking to chairmen, and going across to other organizations, to Facebook, to Google. Yes, to talk to other people, and it was really nice. But guess what? At the end of the day, I wanted to go back to commercial because it always gave me a satisfaction, something to work towards, as opposed to talking to people on a daily basis. Then by character, I get very impatient, and it's something I need to stop. So in HR, you have to be very patient with everyone, yeah, and you have to put yourself in their shoes. But I'm not patient enough to sit in your shoes, especially if you're spending all your time feeling sorry for yourself. I'm like, I want to pinch you and tell you, please move on. Yeah, so it's one of those things. So my point is, plan ahead, but nothing happens exactly the way you plan. And when at the start of 2020 was going to be our best year in terms of work, for me, it was going to be the last year where I would need help at home. For my husband and I, we were planning, yes, after 2020, the children will be out. Then we can have the time of our life. Now look where we are. Yeah, things always change. Things always change, and you should be prepared for that. You must have purpose. Yeah, you must have purpose in life. So for me personally, my purpose in life is to help others. I come from a very big family, as I stated. I'm one of 10, and I'm the third born. And actually, after my mother had the 10 of us, at some point, all of us had moved out, and then she acquired another 3 that she supports. Now the last 2 are joining uni this year, so my parents are back to square one, where they don't have any children. And from them, I learned that it gives a lot of satisfaction to support others. So support doesn't mean commercially or being there with them 24/7. Support means to have often a listening ear, try to help where you can, as many times as possible, and just being there for others. And as I stated earlier, being a member of the Rotary is really helps because we have projects that we work on. It's given me an opportunity to meet other people. It's something that I believe I can be able to, I will do for the rest of my life, because it's given me a platform where I can stand on other people's shoulders and lift people up. I was very excited when David mentioned this, because I always want to be in a forum where I can hold somebody's hand, because guess what? People have held my hand throughout my life, yeah. And they've moved on, and we are still very close because they've believed in me and they've held my hand, and I like to pay it forward. So for you also, I would say, please have a purpose, and make it so that everybody knows. If your purpose is to start your own business, by all means, start your own business. If your purpose is to join politics, do that if it's gonna make a difference. Yeah. So, and the time to start is now. You can't, and that's one of the things that I am happy that one of my former colleagues introduced me to the Rotary, and before that I had not paid a lot of attention to what I wanted to do in terms of supporting others, because I see my parents, and my parents are of limited means, do everything they can to support others. And I thought, since I could do much more than they were, but it never occurred to me that I could go into the Rotary. So it has really helped me, and it gives me joy every Wednesdays and every other day. If I wasn't here today, I was going to join a different club for their evening meeting. And that's the thing. So COVID has made everything so digital and easy, so you can interact with people a lot. Yep. Okay, my free screen is frozen. Yes, show up. Show up. And when you show up, please put out your 100%. Yeah. And when I say show up, it doesn't mean, one of the things I always tell people, that you don't try too hard with other people. You can try to be somebody's friend, but they don't accept you for who you are. We are all different, and we have to accept that. So focus on what you can control, but show up fully 100%. I always tell the people who report to me, my direct reports, that I want to be in a position that you can replace me tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. Not, I don't want to be, I know you're diamond in the rough, but I want you to be able to step in my shoes tomorrow. And that's the only way I can go to the next level. So if they show up 100% and do everything that they need to do for themselves and for the work that they're gonna do, then it will be a good story at the end of the day. So take a leap of faith in yourself, in what you're doing. For example, the people who are in public health, 4th year, 5th year, everything you do, just the same way you focus on your studies, when you get into the job market, show up. The pharmaceutical industry, if I can give an example, is very, very competitive. Yeah, and one of the things that happens to us more often than anywhere else is change. Structures change, strategies change, products change, everything changes. So you have to be on your toes every single time to be able to stay on and take a leap of faith. I mean, you're still young. You have the advantage of youth. So you can change direction, you can change focus, and you'll still be okay. Yeah, yeah. So and one thing I always tell people, you have to give some to get some. Yeah, you can't be just receiving all the time taking. You need to give some to get some. Yeah. So give your time, you'll get time given back to you. Give your money, you get money. Give, show love, you'll get love right back at you. Yeah. So it's very important to do that. And for you guys, and David, correct me if I'm wrong. The pharmacy students take the oath at the time of graduation.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I think that is very important, because what we see in the pharmaceutical industry, and I hope nobody will crucify me for saying this, is after the oath, do no harm. Yeah,
Do
David,
no
it's do,
harm.
yes, do no harm,
Do not harm
and
will get you.
then people forget about it and become simply business people. Recently, I wrote an article in the dailies about illegal trade, because it's for me, it's in the center of my being, and I experience it every day. People bringing products that are substandard, people bringing products that should not be in the market, and doing all that. As pharmacy students, this is my plea to you. When you get to the field, remember your oath. Yeah. And when you're remembering your oath, do not allow other people to use your certificate to be businessmen. At the end of the day, life is precious, and I will stop preaching to you now. Life is precious, and you need to take it very critically. Yeah, always do the right thing. And when you do the right thing, every time you can walk with your head high. And as women, we are the nurturers of the world. Yeah, we are built to lengthen, strengthen, increase, yeah, add on to the world. So all that plus that oath that you're gonna take when you finish, always remember it. And it's one of those things that's very, very dear to my heart, because I know at the end of the day, all of us start with a good an intention to do good, but because of our culture, you can be dragged into illegal practices that does not support your beliefs. So as I said earlier, I'm working for pharmaceuticals, the values and beliefs and everything that we do mirror what my values are. To always integrity is very important to me, and doing the right thing is very, very important to me. And it would be my prayer that as young ladies, you also think of it as something that's very important. You should be known for your integrity. You should be known for showing up 100%, and you should be known for always focusing on what you want. And then everything else just goes smoothly. everything, all the stars will align. Yeah. And everything else will work for you as it's supposed to be. Yeah. That was my last slide. I have spoken for too long. So if you can ask me questions.
We've actually covered a wide range of topics.
Yes.
Coming from after university all the way to your early years in working, all the way to GSK, and then from there now Pfizer. So it's quite wide. I like in the audience, if there's anyone who has a question, feel free to post in the chat, then I'll ask her. But in the meantime, I can go ahead and ask maybe a few questions. As you guys, maybe it will you will have some more will develop as we continue.
Yeah.
So in the pharma industry, okay, one of the topics I wanted to also cover was sexism in the workplace, because that's something as women we go through a lot. So
Yeah.
in the pharma industry, are there any biases towards hiring women? And if there are, once you get hired, are there differences in terms of salaries? Will there be a difference? Yeah.
So I cannot speak for the whole of pharma because my experience has been in the multinationals. Yeah. So from my previous employer and my current employer, we have a ladies forum. That already shows you that ladies is a big focus. Yeah. So one of the things in terms of equity and diversity that I'm a part of the diversity team is to ensure that we employ as many ladies as possible. And actually, I can say that in Africa, our problem is not as big as in the Middle East and all the North Africa, where women are almost like second-class citizens in some countries. Yeah. So in the multinationals, and we probably can count the heads of multinationals in Kenya are actually women. Yeah. Most, at least almost 50% are women. So that goes to show you that it's not a problem here. In terms of all the other people within the organization, we actually make an effort. Right now, I've been tasked that anybody I'm employing next time has to be a man because there are too many women. Yeah, and that's because and as a mother of a boy, I know all the conversations go towards boys, for girls, and boys are being left behind. Yeah, so it's almost like things are flipping to the other side. But Kenya, we are not so badly off. My South African colleagues is 79% women in the office.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
79%. Yeah, so it's previously in terms of choice. Now your certificate works for you, your CV, and that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Make sure you have a very good CV because your CV speaks for you. Yeah. So every time we advertise a role, we get upwards of 5,000 applicants.
Wow.
And what HR will do, will look at the CVs. And just like me, before I would just jot what I think is important and hand over, and then I don't get called back. But from the time I started doing my CV and intentionally about each role, I have gotten a call back. And all you need is that call back to get you into the interview space. So that I don't digress, in terms of harassment and sexual harassment for that matter, it happens. But because in multinationals, there's always the fear of litigation, there are all these SOPs, and there's a channel for reporting. If you feel harassed here, it hardly happens. It hardly happens. And people have lost their jobs. I know somebody in multinationals who recently lost their job at the beginning of the year. Yeah, because they had harassed some people. Yeah. So yeah, so don't be afraid of that. Some organizations maybe not. At the time at which I was waiting to between that October and December, I left GSK in December, 30th of October and December. I got another job with a different company. But then I thought they were treating me so differently. We went through everything, all the interviews, and they offered me the role. I'm like, give me a contract. Then they tell me, no, you come to our country, come and spend 2 months so that we take you through the whole process. Then we'll give you a contract because you're setting up a new organization. Yeah. And my instincts were like, no, these guys might not treat me right, because they're already feeling like, actually, they wanted to give me 2/3 of the salary I'd asked for, just because they knew I did not have a job. Yeah. Yeah. And at that point, I was like, you know, whatever, I'll just take it. But when I think about it critically now, it was such kind of things that take advantage, because the person they employed after that, they actually gave them what they wanted. So those are the things. Yeah. So you, first of all, you need to know your value, and make sure that everybody understands that you know your value. Yeah.
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 Okay. Okay, this has come up in the conversation. When you're talking about CVs, when it comes to applications, because most people, I'm sure, right now are in the point of, you know, writing CVs. So like, are there any tips that you can give to someone, like maybe skills that someone can acquire before, you know, when still job hunting, and also maybe like some skills that will stand out when writing your CV?
Okay, so before I talk about the CV, when I'm hiring, I look more of the into someone's attitude. So unfortunately, and unluckily for me right now, I normally meet the last two candidates. Well, everybody has done the interview, so I meet the last two, and normally I don't go back to the CV. I just look at their attitude. Yeah. If somebody has the right attitude, then they can grow into the whatever role you give them. In terms of CV, get your CV professionally done. Yeah. Yeah, don't assume. Get your CV professionally done. It makes a big difference. And tailor your CV to every role. So if you're going to work for government, the way you're applying for a job in government, the way you tailor your CV is totally different from private sector, because what they're looking at, and look at the adverts, the job requirements keenly, and make sure you portray what you can bring in. Yeah, because most of the time people are looking at capabilities. Yeah, and attitude. Yeah. So if you just write a CV and say, oh, I'm a pharmacy graduate, I have worked in KNH, that's not enough. I worked in a pharmacy in KNH where we are doing ABCD to better life. I was able to change the way the lines are made, so that instead of serving 3 people in an hour, I was serving 20 in an hour. That shows initiative. Yeah. So get your CV, and it might not be cheap. And then one thing also, put a LinkedIn profile. Yeah, and it really pays off to do premium. So if you don't have the money, they have a 30-day trial period. Take full advantage of that 30-day trial period and do all those webinars, because they guide you on how to do the CV. Yeah. Yes, it really, really helps. And this is a lesson I learned as an adult in the last few years. I went to LinkedIn, put on my profile, paid for premium, and went into all those webinars, and it's still paying off after today. I've not updated my CV the last 2 years, but I still get calls, and I'm also very open-minded about roles that are out there. So I never dismiss it. I still give headhunters an audience to understand what they are looking for. Yeah. So this CV speaks for you. It's you when you're not there, and think of you're one in the 5,000 CVs that Anne will receive, and does not have time to look for, and there are keywords. Yeah, from when you look at the job description, there are keywords that now there is a system that picks the keywords from your CV and your letter. Yeah, and those are the ones who are shortlisted. So look out for that. Yeah.
Okay, the next question, I'd like to delve into your position in leadership. So once you applying, getting the job, once you got the job, did you maybe encounter a bit of, what's this, a bit of, what's it, when people had,
Resistance.
yeah, a bit of resistance, maybe from maybe males, or maybe from co-workers who are there, and how did you deal with
Yes.
that?
Okay, so the resistance, when a new person comes into an organization, there's always some level of suspicion you are treated, because you don't know what's happening. First of all, for me, you're coming to be the leader in our organization, and you have no clue what's going on. There is a book that I really made a big difference to me. It's called The First 90 Days. I don't even know who the author is. First 90 days. So it gives you a rough idea on what you need to focus on in the first 90 days on a role. Be patient with people, because people, it's not, they don't know you. They don't know if you are coming to get them out. They don't know if you will be like their former boss. I mean, I've been lucky all my life. I've had very good, very supportive managers. Yeah, but some people are not been very that lucky. So they are very suspicious when somebody comes in, and therefore they're kind of guarded. As a business leader, it's your job to create the culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Open door policy, listening to people, you must do it. So if you are also calm and you're combative, you will not succeed. So you must kind of appreciate that they already know the business better than you. Yeah. And use that to learn the business. Yeah, where somebody has a problem or is resistant, have a honest conversation. It happens. And one thing I learned from the honest conversations that I had, and I am in a very good place right now, is the fact that it was a lot of misconception. Yeah, a lot of misconception, because people don't know you, so they assume things. There are decisions you make because you don't know the full picture, and they impact people. So every decision that you make, think about the people and how it will impact them, because for all you know, you are thinking at the business only, but it's people who create the business. Yeah. And I also need to mention that at my previous employment, when I play back, you know how they say karma comes back.
Yeah. So, wait, you're muted. I don't know. Okay.
Hello? Now you can hear me?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay, sorry, it was just my headphones. I must confess, when a new person came, I would be very guarded about what I tell them and until I get to know them. And it was just coming back to me to show me that that's not the right way to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Guys, I'm not sure if you have any other questions, but I think I can post you the final question because time is almost up. Balancing work, balancing. Okay, for you, you're in your family, so balancing work, balancing family, and also you've mentioned you're very much into fitness. So, how are you able to balance all of them, making sure that you're able to give time to all of them and still watch out for your own mental health?
Yeah. Thanks for that question. You remember my comment about planning?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I intentionally spare an hour for myself to work out in the morning, come rain, come shine. And wherever I go, I make sure that of that. It's very difficult to balance. And as a mother, it can be very, mentally, it can affect you, because it reached a point. My husband's job is such that he's always here. And when my children were much younger, they would ask, why are you always the one who's going? Can't daddy go? And I would feel tortured. At times you're trying to call home, you can't call home, you can't find them, and you're feeling like you're a bad mother. And then the point at which you make a decision to leave, and there are all these friends who are telling you, can't do that, you're gonna mess up your family, and it eats into you. It's a bit difficult. Work-wise, you want to give it your best, and you also want to still be at home. One of the things we've done with this age of COVID was to decide that we're not going to be working 8 hours like we always do. So we've limited our work time to maybe 4 or 5 hours, so that you still have lunch with the children, you have breakfast and in between. So it's the family first, then everything else fits in. So that balance is so hard, and it depends. So if I can give an example, I know in December is our first month of the year. December, January, I would totally not be present. And of course, over Christmas, I'm present because I have to plan. I have to do everything that goes towards my job. Then as time eases and everything falls into place, then I'm free to get back to my family and do things for my family and like that. And it's reached a point where they also totally understand that it's the nature of the job. I should be there when I need to be there. The other thing that I always do is to make sure everybody around me understand. I block my calendar. On Friday, you will not ask me to do WebEx. I will not. It's totally blocked because it's time for me to do other things. Yeah. Before COVID, you'll not ask me to be at work after 5. No, I will not. I will not. Yeah. Yeah. So I can start very early, but I make I make an effort to be also present, and I leave my laptop at work. Yeah, unless I have to make an evening call, and yes, I work with my other colleagues in New York, so at times I have to take a call at night, but that's almost an exception. Yeah, I don't allow it. And also for my team members, I encourage them to be very intentional about the time they want to spend at work and how they do it, so that everybody knows their boundaries. Otherwise, you'd burn out because the work is taking a lot on you. Your marriage is taking a lot on you, and it's difficult. Even when I travel, I make sure I travel on a Monday morning, unless it's a very long haul flight, and therefore I need to start on a weekend. I travel on a Monday, and on Friday evening, I'm back home. Yeah. So anything that I have to do has to be between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, then I'm back home, unless it's very special. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I also have a family to take care of. And if anything that we've learned from the current season is that family comes first. Yeah. So I keep on telling people that if it's time for you, and my reps are very young ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I tell them, do not wait to not have children because you think there's a promotion that's coming in the horizon, therefore you're waiting. No. Yes. No. Do not do that. Yeah. Do your life, live your life. These jobs are not guaranteed, but your life and your family are the most important things for you. Yeah. So family first for me. First. My mental health, very important for me. My spirituality, very important for me. Work is something I do the other times. Yeah. But this is not how I've always been. it has taken time for me to learn. That's how it should be. Yeah.
Okay, just one last final one. I've gotten one privately. She joined a bit late, but she wanted to know, how are you able to decide that pharma was the way for you? Like, did you have any conflict like amongst yourself first of all, and then now with family? And how are you able to decide that, pharma is the way to go and stick to it all the way till now?
Yeah, so clearly she came late. She didn't hear what my motivation was. Yeah, my motivation was the car. Then I got to like it. I just wanted, actually, when I think about it critically, and I mentioned earlier that I wanted to study French, and I was working in a lab. So my path was already being prepared for being in the research space, and it's really, research space is really interesting. Every time we get, like now, if all the work is going toward COVAX, the intended vaccine, and I'm reading a lot about what's happening, and I feel like I'm missing out because that is where I wanted to go. But the reason why I joined pharma was, first of all, I was just thinking of having a car, and I was very excited about somebody else buying the car and paying for it, and therefore I got in there, and I really liked it because it was right where I could make a difference. I could do things, interact with people on a daily basis, and I like that. See my efforts bear fruit, talk about things that really matters, and I've been lucky to work for organizations that give you a platform to get there. In terms of conflict, I've never really had a conflict, except for now when at the point at which I was leaving GSK, and I had 4 jobs on offer, 2 in pharma, 1 in animal farming and all that, and the 3rd one was in the oil industry. My husband had been in the oil industry for a very long time, and therefore that was a no for me. It's too cutthroat. I was like, no, it doesn't make sense for me. I'd been asked for about a role in BAT, and it was so against my values. Yes, it was really an excellent job with very good package. And that's one thing I need to mention to you guys. It's never all about money. Yeah? Money is an add-on. Yeah, it's never all about money. You have to think of other circumstances as well. So even when it came to the point where I could have moved to another industry, pharma was still calling for me. Yeah. Yeah. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, I hope she's answered. I mean herself. I think it was very clear.
Yeah.
If there are any other questions, you guys can send. If not, yes. Okay, it's been replied. Yes, you did. If not, I'd really like to thank you, Anne. We really want to thank you for taking the time to come speak to us and mentor us in this life. We've spoken a lot about sexism, about balancing life, about planning ahead, having a focus in life. I feel like that one is very important, because in this, for our generation, you always feel like you're less than. So you always feel like you need to spread yourself everywhere. So thank you for highlighting that we need to have a focus in life. And yes, thank you so much.
This was an excellent opportunity. I was telling my communication colleague that my greatest fear myself. Yeah, I can go on and I could be relevant. So I hope I have helped. I am available if anybody who needs to talk to me about pharma, specifically Pfizer, I am available. And
or maybe I can type your, or you type your email if anyone can do.
Oh yes, I can.
Okay.
Okay, let me see if I can.
You can just type it on the chat.
Where is my chat? Oh, more. I can't see my chat.
Next to participants, just click on, or next to share screen.
It should be up on the top of your screen where you're sharing.
I don't have it. Let me stop sharing, maybe. But if I stop, let me stop sharing, then I'll get it. Yes, I can see it when I stop sharing.
Yeah.
That's my email address, my telephone number. There.
Can you guys see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So in case you did reach out for me, and I really want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to speak. It made me think about my life many years back. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We're also very much appreciative of the advice. Yeah, we know, like, I personally know it's very rare to get someone who's already way ahead. First of all, for them to even have time, and then second of all, for them to even give you so much insight and with so much honesty. Like, personally, I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart so much. And
thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. All right, guys. Bye. Now I have to go and have dinner.
Thank you so much, Anne, and thank you, Stacey.
Yeah.
I know I'm not among the ladies, but I've been listening from behind here.
I told you where we want our brothers to come along.
We were here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
All right. All right, everyone. Bye. Have a nice evening and stay safe. Yeah, wear your mask, wash your hands.
You too.